when we are ready. But Coach, whenever you're ready, we will like to start with you. Just some thoughts on the class, and then we'll open up to questions.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this class. I thought we hit on needs that we have. These guys have, it was big dust to not only their film looking good and the way they play, um, the wiring of who they are, but also the physical, measurements and tools that we were looking for. And I thought we hit on that and did a great job of evaluating who those guys are, what's their skill set. I looked from top to bottom. I really like this class and am excited about this class joining us. And we got 6 of them that'll be here mid-year, which is exciting because I think some of them will have an opportunity to help us. So yeah, just real excited in general.
Okay, we'll open up the questions. Go right ahead.
You looked like you went heavy on corners and outside linebackers. What was there a reason, a strategy on that, or?
Yeah, we're pretty top heavy as far as classes in our secondary, and one from junior and senior moving forward. So we wanted to bring a bunch of good depth in that could develop, and have some time to develop the next year or two, and then be ready to hit the ground running.
Who are the 6 that are coming in early?
The 6 that are coming in early, Sean Craig will be here. Blue Dantzler will be here. Jeremiah will be here. Trey Glasper will be here. David Madison will be here. And I believe Jake Normwell will join us in the spring term. And then Jaleel Tucker, the JC kid, will be here. So there's 7 total, 6 in January.
Okay.
Yep.
What is your position on early enrollees? I mean, do you feel like it's worked, or?
It's good from the standpoint of them getting into our strength and conditioning program earlier. If they're going to have a chance to play as a freshman, it's really almost the only way. Now there's still guys that do it. Dexter did it this last year coming in June, but they get a whole winter conditioning. They get a spring practice. They get, they're here in April, March for weight training and conditioning, and then right into June and July. And they get a lot of learning during that time. Extra meetings with the coaches. They got 15 spring practices. So it's a really good thing for them. It's more and more common. Kids want to do it, and they get ahead in school, which is good. They get a whole spring term and winter term and summer term before they're even truly freshmen as far as the academic year starts. So I think it's great for them that way.
Yeah, Trent, can you talk a little bit about the defensive lineman, kind of edge rushers in this group? What did you like out of that group, and obviously just kind of reloading the talent base a little bit?
Yeah, I really like the edge kids. Like you look at Blue Dantzler out of Arizona, just a really dynamic, athletic guy that can rush the passer, which is something that we want to add and need to continue to develop. Logan Knapp, just a big, long kid. That has the ability to rush the passer, but is also physical at the line of scrimmage. Really liked his film. He's going to be a big guy at 6'6", 235 already. His ability to develop. I'm excited about that. And then, Jesse Myers and Nick Fisher on the inside. They're guys that can play on the edge, but their size and growth development are going to put them inside for us, which is in our system, the way we want a vertical attack. We like taking edge guys that still have some length, but might not be quite as long as we want, and move them inside, and their ability to gain that weight and then be that dynamic, vertical penetrate and be able to do all the movement stuff we need.
You've been back at Oregon State now for 8 years. How has your recruiting strategy evolved over this period, and given the all the upheaval in the conference and whatnot? How are recruits receiving Oregon State and whatnot?
Yeah, it's been good on the recruiting trail for a couple of reasons. I think the development and what we've done since I've been here over the last 7 years, on offense and defense, but for me particular on defense, the ability to produce and develop guys to have a chance to play at the next level. That's always intriguing to a young person. And then than the success that we've had and where we're going in this new Pac-12 conference is exciting, not only for me, but recruits have responded well to it. It's really the only conference, in the country that you can play regionally anymore. And so for a California kid, a Washington kid, an Oregon kid, the ability for your family to truly watch you play every weekend has been an intriguing thing for some of these guys.
Coach, the quarterback, Tristan Tia, he's the only guy with a commitment that hasn't signed yet officially. Do you just have a status on that, or what's going on with that situation?
Yeah, everything's good with him. He's just planning on signing in February with the rest of his teammates.
And in regards to Liberty High School, Nevada, did you guys just have a house out there with 3 guys coming in from there? I'm curious what the connection is with that staff and why it was such a fertile recruiting ground for you guys.
Yeah, well, 2 of them kind of transferred into that school, so it was kind of, we were recruiting them. Like Jeremiah, he was at a different school, Arborview, and then transferred into Liberty, and then Sean was there. And then Skylar Jackson transferred in there as well. So it kind of was actually the recruiting for 2 of them started at a different school and then kind of moved into that school.
Coach, one of the other big aspects now that's changed with recruiting is recruiting your roster. And you've mentioned that before. How is that process going now that you're having your exit interviews and such with the players?
It's going well. It's going well. And, you're always going to have a couple guys here and there that are going to, either move on for opportunity on the field or opportunity financially. And so you just try to hold on as best you can, but it's been really well received. And I feel good about, retaining, most of these guys that are going to help us win next year.
Coach, how do you like this early period that falls just before the portal window opens? What's your feeling on the order to do things?
Yeah, well, the portal, I love the portal window. The portal window technically has been open for a couple months now. When you talk about coaches recruiting our guys and guys saying they intend to enter the transfer portal. So it's really, you got to do both. You got to set out your time that this is how we're attacking the high school recruiting and staying in touch with those guys and evaluating those guys while keeping an eye on, who's going in the portal, or when that opens, you're ready to have those guys and those lists ready to start bringing them in and recruiting them.
Has your view changed much on recruiting high school kids in this environment in terms of how long you've got to develop a player? Is it more like a 2 to 3 year period as opposed to the old 4 to 5 years you got with a player?
Yeah, I would say at a lot of universities, it's probably 1 to 2 years. When you look around the country, what's going on, it's really the administration that you're working for. I feel good about Oregon State and their ability to allow you to develop a roster. You saw it with Coach Smith and what we did over that period of time. So high school recruiting to me and junior college recruiting is going to be the main area that we're going to attack. And hopefully, you're filtering in 5 to 6 portal guys a year instead of 20 or 30.
Coach, in regards to kind of that portal window, how many players on your roster do you feel right now have been contacted by other schools?
I would say anyone that started for us.
And then in regards to your own portal decisions, is 5 to 6 the number of guys you're wanting to add, and kind of what position groups are you looking at to add guys right now?
Yeah, with losing 3 starting offensive linemen, we'll look to add a guy there. We'll look to add some guys on defense at edge, a corner, an interior defensive lineman, and we'll look at a quarterback as well.
Trent, there were a couple guys this cycle where you won some recruiting battles against bigger schools and arguably maybe bigger resources. What does that say about you and your staff and the vision you were able to sell on Oregon State? And it may seem a bit odd nowadays, but how much does that kind of not get as much publicized these days with NIL and everything, that relationships and those kind of things still matter as much as the other stuff?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the identification of who the person is you're recruiting. What is that kid about? What interests him? What motivates him? Kids that are motivated by success and want to be developed and want to understand the long game and where they want to go are attracted to a school like us. So we just got to identify those kids that have the skill set we're looking for, and those are the ones we go after. And I think we did that.
What do you feel about your quarterback position at this point?
I mean, we have to see how everything shakes out. I think I probably can't give you a truthful answer on that right now. But I think there's some good young players, but we need a veteran guy.
Do you think one of the top 3 guys is going, one or more of those guys is going to leave?
I mean, I don't know for sure. It'd be speculation, but usually that's what happens when you got a couple guys that are in that same class.
How ready is Callan Guttridge?
I thought he did a nice job through the season as far as developing the fundamentals of playing the position. We'll see in spring ball. Can he handle the mental side of it and the reads and all that as a young player? That's really what's going to separate him or tell us he's ready or not quite ready.
Do you anticipate having Ben Gulbranson back next season?
That's hard to say. I think he's weighing his options. He's got medical school. He's got, does he come back for another year? We're going to meet later in the week. He's kind of figuring out what his final decision is going to be.
If Ben were to come back, is he a guy you could just give the job to at this point? No, what he is. Is he a guy you could give the job to?
I mean, Ben definitely. I mean, I thought we played a lot better, when in the second half and moved the ball better, and especially better through the air when Ben was there. So he's definitely a guy that you would look at as definitely the front runner.
Trent, I'm curious on your thoughts on Jaleel Tucker. He kind of had a bit of a winding road, but originally was recruited to Oregon by Coach Chance. I'm just curious, was that kind of something where Coach Chance is like, hey, this kid's got athleticism, we want to give him another shot? What'd you guys see from him coming out of San Diego Mesa?
Yeah, he has the skill set from the ability to run and change direction, and then the length that we like at corner. And then it's just great whenever Coach Chance has a really good relationship, knows who the kid is and how he's wired. And there's so much about the kid's success at our place when they're wired the right way, and trusting Coach Chance and that this kid is. And as I've gotten to know him through the recruiting process, I believe he is, and I believe he's going to be very successful here.
Coach, you mentioned the length that you like from defensive backs. It's pretty prevalent with this recruited class of just long athletes, long bodies. I'm curious, is that so you can play them at both safety or corner if they don't work out at corner, at nickel? What is kind of the thought process behind getting much longer bodies at that position?
Yeah, there's 2. The first one is the way we play. We want to press and we want to get our hands on. So that length really helps take the receivers, get off the line of scrimmage away. Also, length allows you to recover better when you do make mistakes. So at corner, that's very important. But yes, I always believed in recruit a bunch of corners because you can always move them in. If you recruit too many safeties, you can't move them out.
Okay, do we have any more questions? All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.